Overall, I kind of dig it, but it could be.
Son, what are you watching there?
Well, Dad, it's Larry Arts Productions, home to many types of content, including stop motions, reviews, unboxings, and other types of videos.
I knew getting the internet for my kid was a mistake. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Tonight, it's your Monday night coverage of the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series as the drivers take their Season 4 destination to Auto Club. Been watching that of real-life racing. We got to see that of last night. Incredible doubleheader for NASCAR, but tonight we get to see the trucks take on the course as it is that of the Dino Charge 250 here tonight at Auto Club for race number 7 of that ISRC Truck Series. The drivers will put on the show. We're ready for it as we're going to be getting ourselves set up for that qualifying underway for these drivers. Can't wait for it. For myself, Sam Dyer, joining me is going to be that of Zach Hall. Zach, tonight certainly should be a good one. Practice has shown us that it could be something special here this evening.
That it could really be, Sam. I'm excited to see how this plays out. You know, these are new open waters here for ISRC as they've never actually raced here at Auto Club in their first 3 seasons. So here at the 4th season, they're going to bring it back to the 2-miler for the very first time. And I'm excited because this track always seems to be so well at putting a show on that I think we're going to see lots of wild moments throughout the night, 4-wide, 3-wide moments, and possibly even maybe some 5-wide at some point.
5-wide could be potential. We know for sure at least 3-wide is going to be used here tonight on the regular, as so many different lanes to be used here at the 2-mile course here in Fontana as the drivers getting themselves across the line a little bit over halfway through qualifying for these drivers. Currently topping the board is going to be that of Cedric Hunter in the 13. Mark Whitley is going to be that of 2nd. As some drivers finishing up their qualifying times, others are just running some extra laps. Here's going to be Logan Brakey hoping for a fast one for the 29 machine, and 23rd after his first lap, but down on the apron to try to finish out where he's going to be lining up here tonight to start the Dino Charge 250. And for that of Logan Brakey, he's got to be up to 14.
Ooh, and he flirted with disaster kind of there, hit that grass just a tiny bit, trying to cut that apron as much as possible to shorten up the distance. And that almost most likely gave him off track, but luckily for him, did not. So that lap time counts as a big slide out of 4 there. They're going to try to hang on to that machine, but down to pit road, and that's going to be time over there for that driver. It shows you it is very much a lot of grip here tonight with the way the weather is. We got a very cold racetrack out there, but at the same time, you can easily step out very much sideways over the bumps through 3 and 4, and also off the exit of turn 2.
That's going to be the 26 on screen for Tyler Horn, and he's going to run out of time, not going to be able to put another lap in as he will be starting deeper in the field. As we got 20 seconds left, drivers are hoping to build up any more extra time, but Tyler Horn going to be one of the last drivers out there on track. It might as well get some extra practice here this evening, which it's going to be a cold night for these drivers. They thought it was cold when practice started, when it was only 65 degrees ambient temperature and the track temp was 69 degrees. But Zach, since practice has been going on and even into qualifying, it has only been getting colder and colder, and that's going to be one of the big factors to watch out for.
That it will be, Sam. It's going to pick up the grip level of this track not only, but also make those colder tires a little bit more treacherous. So the first few laps are going to be a little bit more wild, but the drivers are going to have to figure that out quickly as it continues to cool down.
Let's take a look at our qualifying results here tonight for the Dino Charge 250 for the ISRC Truck Series. Taking the pole award and going to be the 13 of Cedric Hunter. Mark Whitley going to be 2nd fastest in the 77. Then in 3rd, it's Nick Crawford in the 74. 4th place is going to be going to that Trenton Jump in the 46 machine. 5th goes that of Ethan Smith in the 00. In 6th, going to be that of Joshua Kanata in the 16. He's feeling strong here this evening. In 7th, going to be John Forbes in the 11. Ollie Fonseca going to get 8th place in the 24. Then it's going to be in 9th, going to be Kyle Rochelle in the 21 machine, with that at 10th going to a driver who hasn't qualified up front, but a good qualifying run goes to that of Jordan Schmitz in the 4.
Followed along by Schmitz there in the 11th position. It's Matt Upbrook. Great qualifying run for him there. The 12 machine of Ryan Crowfoot, he's going to start in 12th. 13th is going to go to the 5 of Dakota Muniz. 14th is going to be Logan Brakey with Cody Reed there in 15th position. 16th is going to go to Eric Stamp. 17th is going to be the 43 of Kyle B. Tate. 18th is going to be GT Irizarry. 19th, John McAdams. And rounding out the top 20, it's Cody Smith.
Then in that of going to be in 30th position, in that in 31st position We're going to be seeing that of Noah Steele in 21st. Then it's going to be seeing that of Justin Smith in 22nd, and Christopher Norris in 23rd. Tyler Dangler going to be in 24th, with that of Ryan Ferraro in that of 25th, starting out his debut for the 51 who missed the start of the season. Then in that of 26th going to be Mark Morales Jr. in the 91, with that of Zachary Peterson in 27th. 28th going to be that of Jonathan Smith, with Austin Halsey in the 29, and going to be in 29th for the 99. Then it's going to be Danny Cochran starting deep in the field for the 2 machine, with Joshua Altis, Malik Kuntz, as well as Joshua Freed, Jesse Thornock in that of Matthew Million, and Tyler Horn finishing out our 36 drivers here this evening as they get rolling off here tonight. Gonna be an interesting race to watch out for, especially on the fact that everyone is searching for that extra momentum and maybe that extra oomph to get themselves into victory lane. But Zach, I mean, tonight gonna be just 90 laps for these drivers. We are gonna be missing out on getting our driver interview here this evening, as in that of 90 laps, who do you think is gonna be the driver to watch out for here this evening?
Well, I think track position is going to be vital. So these drivers starting up in the top 5, Cedric Hunter, Mark Whitley, Nick Crawford, Trenton Jump, Ethan Smith. I think they're all going to be in a very strong position here to be able to get to that lap 35 stage and be in a good position, because I can tell you it's going to be a very clogged up field with how this draft package here works here at this place with these trucks. So I think it's going to be tough to get passes done, especially on that inside lane, which is the preferred lane, but for making passes, it will be that outer groove. So it's going to be tough to gain track position. But I think those top 5 guys are going to be looking very well off here to start off.
Confident and ready is this field. They know that it's going to be loose. It's going to be a handful, but who can hold on the best that they can? Here tonight, it's the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series for the Dino Charge 250, and we are green this evening, as that's going to be Cedric Hunter, Mark Whitley, Nick Crawford, as well as Trenton Jump, taking us all the way down into turn number 1.
Interesting decision making from the 13 of Cedric Hunter. He decides to take the outer groove on the start of this race, and I expected him to go straight to the bottom with that selection, but taking that outside, he's now giving up the lead to Mark Whitley very quickly into this race, maybe feeling like it would be easy to hold the 77 back on that top side, but I think the bottom is going to be the preferred place here for the first few laps while you're wide open.
And the sun is setting, so the drivers trying to make their passes here quickly before the lights can fully click on, as you see them there, as the drivers on the exit of turn number 4 holding steady. But there still is always the worry here, Zach, of someone getting loose. That could be bringing out a major caution, as lap number 1 side by side, and give to Mark Whitley there for the 77.
Lap led for the 77, like you said, but it's the 13 who's trying to make the power move. Coming off a 4, it was the 77 who was sideways. Cedric Hunter with a better drive off was able to get to the inside and make a nice clean pass through 1 and 2. Where here comes Trenton Jump, last week's winner, just broke through to get the victory lane at Darlington. I think he's looking to carry momentum.
He wants to carry that momentum. First-time winner at an oval after a long spree of just not able to get it done and finishing in victory lane by the 46. Inside, trying to make the pass, but it's just not fast enough. Zach, like you said, the inside lane kind of going to be difficult here as the run progresses forward, but a little bit of interesting call. A lot of these drivers deciding to work with the 46 to keep it side by side for our leaders.
That is a very interesting thing there, Sam. Usually you see everybody wash up to that wall, use that outside to use the draft up there, and everybody went low. That really helped the 46's case. He almost closes the door on the 13, but the 13 with a good enough run off the top side there of 2. He's able to make stuff happen. Now he's got his teammate Nick Crawford right behind him.
Crawford going to be trying to help with maybe potentially a bump. Not going to be close enough to give it through the back stretch, but through the corner, still side by side, aggressive, and getting out of the pinch. But drivers gonna have to decide where they are gonna be feeling the most comfortable. Again, you can use every lane possible here tonight, but Zach, as we're seeing the battling for the lead continue forward, everyone's still pretty much stuck to one another. The draft has kept the whole entire field still strung out together. But at some point here tonight, Zach, where is the preferred lane to be if you are trying to protect those tires?
To protect the tires, personally, the bottom is the best place, but it still doesn't make the most speed when it comes to trying to make passes. So it puts yourself in a tough predicament. I just did a race personally myself here not too long ago, and I felt like personally track position was the most vital thing. A lot of times we talk about tire saving. I don't think tire saving is going to be too big of a factor here tonight. It's not like you can go out there and roast the tires, but you definitely don't want to be giving up positions. If you're giving up track position, you're going to find out quickly when you go to try to pass somebody, it's going to be very tough to do.
Going to be extremely tough to deal with as some drivers deeper in the field having some early troubles. That of the 69, that of the 96 of Zachary Peterson, one of our first victims of getting into the outside wall and losing major momentum. And also that's going to be hurting a very strong contender that we had last week of that of Matthew Gilliams. We'll see how this field can try to not get into trouble, but that outside wall always going to be a lingering force to worry about, as it can be a magnet at times. As you see that in the 19 machine, going to be scraping the wall there. A little bit of looseness already starting to show, as that Power Rangers machine and their Dino charge is trying to hold on for now.
That looseness condition can be very, very bad out of 3 and 4. 3 and 4 much different corner than 1 and 2 in my opinion, much more bumpy, especially right on that bottom lane. And a lot of times you'll hit those bumps, it'll actually shove the nose of the truck up to the racetrack and make that truck a little bit tighter, not want to turn down to the bottom. You crank a little bit more left turn of that wheel in there and you're quickly sideways on the exit. And that's Tyler Dingler, who was holding on to that machine last time, just scraping that wall as he tries to go around the outside of the 29 brakie. But you can see it's just a log jam there all the way in front of him.
And this is around that halfway marker that we're seeing all this movement as drivers trying to do their best. When a driver that's going backwards, surprisingly, is going to be seeing biggest loser, you can say, in the top 10. It's Mark Whitley down 5 positions. He qualified 5th, down to 7th. As the middle of the field continues to be 3 wide, almost 4 wide at times.
They are swamping that 77 right now. They're just going all left, right around him, and it might be a little bit of a tire staging strategy from that team there. We'll see how it comes back around for him there. As you can see, he's just got a bunch of hungry drivers right behind him. Kyle Rochelle in the 21 right there, directly behind the 4, Jordan Smeets. You got Eric Stamp also. So everybody looking to go forward here, while it looks like Mark Whitley looking to save as much tire as possible. And you can see he's on this bottom lane. Everybody trained up top there, and they're just going to be drafting in a train right around his outside.
That's where you can find a major loss of ground is through the straightaways because of the draft. It can be a big weapon to help yourself out, as we saw there on the front stretch. Under the back stretch, we still linger on that at 77, looking back, finally going to clear up into the outside lane as he's got Kyle Rochelle right on his back bumper, and that's going to actually be something to watch out for because drivers get clogged up, and that's exactly what happened to Jordan Schmitz. He got kind of pinched up into the outside wall on the entry of turn 3 there.
Things quickly check up when you're out here at this track as you're going down that back straightaway. The line in front of you, you have someone slide up in front of that truck ahead of you, and it clogs up that line. Everybody has to check up, and hopefully people are paying attention because it can quickly end up into an incident here as you head into 1. You can see Stamp trying to make a move to the inside of Rochelle. You also got the 14 of GT Zari there in the picture with the 25 of Cody Reed there. All 3 of them ripping that bottom right now, but you're going to see down this back straightaway, look at the draft from the 21. It's going to help that 4, and now the 53 is going to have to defend from this 4 machine.
Going to be trying to defend the best that he can, as a big push going to be going towards that of the 53 machine. And, looking at these drivers, we got that of seeing 2 4 machines. The driver in the dark gray and blue, it's going to be GT Razari. The driver that's in the black and red, that is going to be Schmitz, who's on the outside lane. So drivers got to be careful of seeing the different schemes on how they are on track, as still 3 defined lanes being utilized here, and this is awesome to see everyone searching for wherever they can be.
It really is, Sam. I love this racetrack, man. It's a pity that this place won't have another NASCAR Cup Series or another NASCAR event happening at it till they get their short track done here, but it is a track that just has so much character, so many abilities to race, and that's what really makes the races here that great, is you have 3 to 4 lanes that all can make speed, and that is all you can ask for as a driver when you come to a racetrack, is to have the ability to go out there and make the moves you want to do to go for it.
Starting to see a little bit of a breakup here of this is the middle pack losing touch to our leaders. There's like almost 3 or 4 different pods of machines. You got our leaders, which are going to be our top about 3 to 4 drivers trying to pull away. Then we've got another group, as all caution, striking in the back.
That it is, and looks like we got 2 trucks around. Looks like Joshua Altis in the 94. He's spun around on the back straightaway, and just an unfortunate incident here for the 94, who started way in the back after starting 31st and was kind of working his way forward and ends up there with a blown engine, required damage. Same for Jesse Thornock in the 20, and same for the 26 of Tyler Horn, along with Malik Kuntz in the 98. So 4 trucks here quickly out of this event with major damage.
Looks like it's going to be the 98 machine of Malik Kuntz. It's going to be the driver that was around the catalyst of this with Joshua Altus with that contact. But like you said, Zach, those listing of drivers with required damage, it's going to be a tough night for all those drivers with no fast repair. They are going to be struggling here, as is going to be our caution bringing out for that of lap 12 and just puttering into pit road. Some of these drivers have blown engines. No fast repair, going to be a tough night. But for those that just were running there for those 10 laps, Zach, this could be an interesting time, because if you're looking for any points, as we are closing in on the halfway marker of the regular season, you might be thinking about some stage points, which means you might be thinking about taking one of your extra 4 sets of tires that are in pit road.
I think a lot of drivers might take that chance, man. I think pit road might be a very busy place, and from what I'm seeing, it is. As we see right here, it's the 98 washing up in front of the 94, Malik Kuntz, and just contact between those two, and it's going to spell danger for a lot of drivers. Jesse Thornick involved in this at 20 machine, and also contact to Tyler Horn there. You see him coming to the background, and the interesting thing is Malik Kuntz is the one who kind of was the catalyst in that, washing up in front of the 94, probably not thinking the 94 was going to get to the quarter panel there. He's all fine here, and then it just seems like he takes a dead left, pretty much just left right into the wall, and pretty much ends his night here with a hard collision.
Yeah, that of Joshua Altus has already called it a night. He has parked it and has left the server, and Jesse Thornick, Malik Kuntz, and Tyler Horn still sitting and waiting for their decisions if they're going to be leaving or staying. I mean, it's a tough decision, because if you stay with a blown engine, it could be up to 30 minutes before you can get back out there on track. And are you really going to be gaining enough positions for it to truly matter? That's certainly going to be a question, as drivers already have gone through that pit road. And the first of those deciding to take the chance on tires is going to be all the way back in 17th place, where that of Nick Crawford, Trenton Jump, Ollie Fonseca, Matt Upbrook, and also GT Rosari and many more deciding to come in and take tires for themselves.
That they are, Sam. This is going to be interesting to see, folks. We're going to get to see what the tire difference is like. I mean, Cedric Hunter out there leading the race. He was running some pretty quick laps. I mean, he was running about a 41-44 there out front, from his fastest lap being a 40-80. So, I mean, that's still, you're seeing right there 0.6 of fall off in the lap times. So we could very well see some of these drivers on the newer tires really start to make up a lot of ground. It's just how quickly can they do it. But you also put yourself right back in that mix that I would be worried about if I'm in that group.
As we are still under caution, drivers waiting for the 1 to go marker to be given to them. Big shout out to Race Car Graveyard being the title sponsor of the ISRC Truck Series. Race Car Graveyard is the place to go if you want to start being a diecast collector. They have plenty of different options, from that of 1/24th to 1/64th ratio, that of NASCAR decals. And if you're purchasing today, remember to use that of RCGY while you're getting your used, as you're getting your new, used, or even custom diecast today. Also, go follow Race Car Graveyard. That's all together as one word on Instagram today. As drivers got the 1 to go indicator here, Zach. It's going to be that of Cedric Hunter, Ethan Smith starting up front on 14 lap older tires than those that just came into pit road. Big thing for them, though. They've got plenty of group drivers that are in between themselves and that 17th position where we find that of Nick Crawford.
That they do. Plenty of people in between them, so this is going to make for a wild restart here. I think you're about to see those 4 wide moments come out here with those new tires, trying to make up big time, going where the drivers in front of them are not. And also another thing that look here is Cedric Hunter's elected to take the bottom lane here. Does have more control of this restart instead. Well, that first restart where the start of the race you have to go in green. Now this restart, he'll be going in that restart zone, and we'll see how well it works for him here with Ethan Smith and John Forbes, the 2 teammates behind him. Can they team up?
Can they team up? Can they get ready? Because it's time to see how these drivers are going to attack this next restart into the restart zone. We are green, as Cedric Hunter already going to be having a decent gap for himself. Going to be over that of 2 truck lengths. Can he hold on? As drivers deeper in the field already trying to show their prowess of fresh tires.
That they are. People trying to go around the outside, around the inside here. You see the 74, Nick Crawford there. He's trying to go forward on those brand new tires, but how quickly we'll be able to do it is going to be the huge question.
With fresh tires, going to allow you to try to work the outside lane a little bit more aggressively. Don't have to worry about your tires that much, because our stage break going to be at lap 35. So drivers don't have to think too much about it. It's only going to be about that of a 20-lap run with these rubbers, so you might want to say for maybe 2 or 3 laps, but then you can stun it 100% to go after everyone in front of you, as you see staying on board 74, not trying to be too aggressive, kind of just letting the race come to him, while other drivers around the course being a little bit more aggressive with their fresh rubber, as it's going to be seen that Trenton jump Ollie Fonseca. Oh no, there goes Nick Crawford coming down and getting contact with himself, as well as going to be that oh no, 47, and that's John McAdams in the 47, and Nick Crawford. No yellow is thrown because they were off the racing surface, and Zach, that's one of those wrecks that always drivers are worried about, of not bringing out a yellow and with madness striking.
It'll be an interesting conversation behind that one there. This teammate is the 72 and Jonathan Smith goes around and yellow's out on the track now. That's going to save Crawford, but they're wrecking on the inside more.
More drivers going to be mixed in between, and that of Tyler Horn right in the mix of it as well.
Wow. Big stuff happening here. It's just showing you when you got different agendas out there on the racetrack with different tires and speed levels, things happen so quickly, as it all started around that 7 and the 72 farther back into 1 and 2, and you got to feel for a few of these guys who were caught up in this this incident.
We're actually going to see a couple of different incidents here as we get our bearings straight. That first incident, Cody Smith certainly was the first driver getting into that. Jonathan Smith, you had to see the Smiths get into one another. But let's take a look here first at that Nick Crawford incident that didn't bring out the yellow, but happened right before this incident that brought out officially our yellow. Going to see the 74 on the outside, as well as it's going to be that of McAdams on the inner groove, as they're going to be squeezing onto that of the exit in the middle of the corner. It's looking good. It might be the next lap here. Zach, is drivers are still running well.
That they are running well down the back straightaway, but here it comes. He's going to look to the inside of the 38. The 38 is going to check up due to the 25 there. And the 38, I think, was just trying to cut down there, Christopher Norris, and he had the 74 to his inside. And that's going to be an interesting conversation between the two teammates there, in my opinion. So tough break there for Nick Crawford, who took those tires. And again, that's what puts you back in that situation. When you go back there, you put new tires on and you get back mixed in the field instead of the track position you have, you get caught up in incidents like that. And I think now we're going to see when they go into one here, this is the incident that actually brought out the yellow with the 7 of Cody Smith and that 72 of Jonathan Smith.
The big thing here, watch out for the 7. It seems like two different styles on how they wanted to enter the corner. The 7 wanted to be a lot more aggressive, as the 72 backing off, and the 7 going to be just running over that of Jonathan Smith, and just nowhere to go for either driver here as they go entering into turn 1, and there's the tap, and away he goes, 72, and everyone else. Once you see a driver sideways, Zach, there's always the few that will just overreact at times, but sometimes there's just nowhere to go as the 7 continues to power his way through. Then everyone starts ducking and panicking on where to go.
Panicking indeed. There is we even got to see there from that one shot. You saw the flames coming out the tailpipes, and what that is raw unburnt fuel that is actually catching on fire from the heat of the exhaust there. That when you lift off that throttle, it'll spray those flames out of the side pipe. So it tells me that Jonathan Smith lifted a lot earlier than what that 7 machine was doing. And like you said, just two different agendas going into the corner, and it ends up taking the 72 out. And then these other drivers are just innocent bystanders there, as this track is very wide. But when you have that many lanes, people kind of scatter everywhere, and that's where it's hard to make it when it misses incidents.
And for that of Tyler Horn, he had actually just gotten done with some damage repairs, and he will then was on just pacing around on the apron and caught up in that incident. Harsh smack for the 26, who luckily will be able to continue to race, but not able to get the lucky dog because he was involved with the incident. As drivers stacking up, getting ready for the 1 to go marker, which has come out. It's actually going to be Mark Whitley, Jonathan Kanata, that with Eric Stamp, and Ethan Smith going to be your second through that of 5th. Cedric Hunter, Zach, on that run just looks so dominant as he's going to be the leader on this restart.
He really did. I've been impressed with him. I mean, normally his trait is he does not qualify well, and he's usually good on long runs. But tonight, he's kind of showing a little bit of a different trait. He's showing a lot of speed. And that would make, if I'm this competition, a little bit worried because normally his strengths, like I said, are the longer runs. And from that, pretty much, you know, with the speed he's carrying here tonight, it may be a tough position to get around that 13. But, I mean, he's coming off a week after Darlington that I'm sure he wants to forget all about. I mean, it was just ups and downs, hitting the pit wall and literally going upside down. So I think the 13 is going to want to try to bounce back from that there. But a great run so far for him, but still a long way to go. He can't count his chickens yet.
No, he cannot at all, as we're going to be seeing how this restart is going to set up these drivers. Those with the fresh rubber, that's able to move up. That's Trent Jump, Ali Fonseca, going to be the front two drivers that are going to be having the best rubber to go, as we're going to be coming up to that of 15 laps to go before this stage is done. Cedric Hunter, Mark Whitley, ready for the restart. Thank you so much for joining with us on your Monday night as you are watching the ISRC Truck Series into the restart zone, and the Dino Charge 250 is back underway.
Great restart from the bottom lane once again for the 13 machine of Cedric Hunter. He's going to be able to pull well ahead of Mark Whitley, and that's good for Mark Whitley, though, that the second car in the bottom lane of Joshua Kanata didn't get too good of a run. He's going to have single file racing there for himself to try to run down that 13. But from behind them, you're going to see it's going to be Trenton Jump, the first one on the new tires, trying to make his way forward. We'll see how much speed he can make on those tires.
Seeing how much speed there truly is there, as ducking down low, going to be trying to go for the lead position as Mark Whitley not giving up any time and wanting to get that space immediately for himself. Not able to fully commit to that pass, and he'll just get right back in line as the rest of the drivers just trying to see where can they get some inkling of speed. It looks like a little bit of help from the teammates from out of the Armadillo Racing team and those colored teal graphics. Going to be of that of Noah Steele as well as Trenton Jump trying to move forward.
Trying to move forward they are, and we'll see. It's going to take a few laps because these tires from the leaders up front, yes, they are older, but they have cooled down. We have very cool temperatures out there, so when they're going around on pace laps, those tires are rejuvenating. They're coming back to life. They're not really getting hurt by these cautions. They're actually getting helped more or less by these cautions. So we'll see how long they can hang on. But after these tires start to fire up from Trenton Jump, as he's starting to make the 3-wide move past Kyle Rochelle, past his teammate Eric Stamp, you're going to see quickly the difference in speed.
Armadillos have been running pretty well so far in the early going. You got 3 of the 4 inside of the top 10. As you see there, in that CTG machine, it's Eric Stamp riding on the outside. A driver that's found himself in victory lane at a couple of different tracks in the history of the ISRC Truck Series, as he is trying his best to get back into victory lane potentially here tonight. But it's been the strategy calls that always puts him in the best position. In fact, strategy could be the key here tonight, especially after our stage break. Curious on how Eric Stamp, how well he's running right now, where he'll be standing here at the end of the night.
It is a huge question. It's always been his best trait, really, is his strategies. He's always done very, very well with when it comes to those strategies, and we'll see if he can continue that. But up front, we just had a big slide job maneuver there. As you see Mark Whitley up on that top side, up in that top lane, and Cedric Hunter was able to cross him back over for the lead. And that just shows me Mark Whitley, he wants to clean air because he sees Trenton Jump is coming, as he's now up the third with a great pass to 1 and 2.
This isn't going to help him much because that Trenton Jump to the inside for that second place, going to hold on for himself. As that is Cedric Hunter, big wiggle there. There comes the momentum from the 46 that's able to carry forward, hoping that the draft is going to help out. Mark Whitley has to push his competitor of the 13, keeps him ahead. But here comes the strength of good rubber as that Trenton Jump easily breezes by and takes the lead.
After a win last week at the Darlington Speedway, a stage win at Motegi, his 2 in a row stage wins is also formed for the last 2 races. Can Trenton Jump out there and get his 3rd stage win in a row? He's in position to do it now with the freshest tires of this group. But we look back here, it's Ali Fonseca, the other driver on the fresh tires. He's trying to make his maneuver forward here in the 24 machine.
A little bit more patient as that Trenton Jump, as well as Ali Fonseca, were lined up together, but obviously not feeling like he needs to push the machine as much as getting a good shot of the rear end as we're riding on board with that of Kyle Rochelle. Seeing how well these drivers can carry forward as the inside lane seems to be the better spot to be if you have fresh rubber, because everyone else trying to stay in the middle or that third lane for themselves.
It's always so tough. You know, even though Fonseca has the fresher tires, he's trying to make that bottom work, but on the straightaways is where he loses out. As soon as he gets into the corners, the tire advantage becomes a factor. On the straightaways, though, that top line is going to have the speed with the draft being given to those drivers up there. And again, Fonseca stuck here on the bottom, but I think Cedric Hunter, he's going to drop low, give the 24 a little bit of draft here on those fresher tires, and that's going to allow the 24 to pull up closer. And maybe Cedric knows this is not his battle here with this 24. It's the battle behind him as Mark Whitley gets almost spun around in the 77 in the background.
A little bit of contact between the 77 and the 16, and for that, Mark Whitley did not get into the outside wall, which that would have been so much more damage given to that of the 77. Instead, bad bump, slides. Those tires are not going to be happy, but he's going to be happy on the fact that this whole entire truck is still alive.
That he will be. It could have been night over there with that slide. What a catch from the 77. Just great wheelmanship as he was dead sideways on the edge of the corner.
No!
Now the 6. Oh, no!
It's going to be the 6 spinning around, as well as the 4 going to be having issues as drivers not able to survive. And I saw that, I believe it was the 11 I saw there. But it was almost contact to Mark Whitley's back bumper as someone was drifting back up on the middle of the exit of the corner. And didn't clip the 77, but did make contact with other drivers. And Catalyst going to be starting out that wreck. Man. That was a hard one, and I believe both of those machines dealing with some older tires just weren't able to hold on.
And they were not, Sam. I tell you, that's a tough break if you're the two of Danny Cochran who got caught up in this. I mean, you're going to see here the run. They're splitting that 11 machine of Forbes there through the middle, and the 6 has got to run on Mark Whitley. He thinks he needs to go low to cut low, and the 2 machine is there. And maybe just didn't get the call there that he needed from the spotter to let him know the 2 is there, but just, I mean, completely turns down and door slams him, and that sends him spinning here on this front straightaway, and Justin Smith trying to go forward, now going backwards.
Luckily, no required damage, but you don't want damage here at Auto Club. That aerodynamics so important, and drivers have been notified that is not the stage break. We are going to have another restart before this stage is done. And Zach, this could be something a little bit terrifying because there's a couple of drivers that are deciding to take some fresh rubber that were up front. This could be changing up how this end of this race is setting up because now this shifts a large majority of drivers that were in the 15th to 16th range all the way up to now 11th and 12th to have fresher rubber than those that are inside of our top 9.
It does change things up a good bit. Could make that battle for the stage points very viable for a few of those guys farther back in those positions that you were speaking of. And also, I think this is interesting timing too, because I think maybe a few of these drivers who just pit this latest time by, took 4 tires and fuel, they may elect to stay out when the stage break comes around. We cannot make it when it comes to fuel for, after the stage break to the end of the race. So you're going to have to make one pit stop. So this really would not change anything for you if you did stay out. They can go out there and conserve the tires a decent bit. We've seen Cedric Hunter and, the majority of the field who stayed out do a pretty good job of keeping a good bit of track position. This could shake things up when we get back after that stage when it comes to who's up front and who's in the middle.
And a little bit of a weird situation as drivers were coming into pit road for some going for just fuel, majority taking tires on this stop. Cody Reed has left the server manually. We're not sure exactly why he has left. We're waiting for confirmation, but the 25 doesn't look to be a strong run. Going to be finishing out here tonight as he needs to get back in that truck immediately. Otherwise, he's going to go multiple laps down.
Tough break there for the 25 team who's had some excellent runs this season. I mean, had the win earlier this season also at Watkins Glen. I mean, just the breakthrough victory that was, so special to him. So he does have that to fall back on, but it's still, you want to go out there and race, pretty much all the way to the end of the races here. You don't want to be able to get knocked out of them here early, and it seems like you said, just a manual disconnect, so maybe something has went on there for him. So tough break for the 25 team, but now we get another great restart up front, and we got some different of a little bit of a mix there. Matt Upbrook, he's up to the 6th position in the 15 machine. He's got fresh tires. Ali Fonseca, he's going to restart 3rd here this time with fresh tires. And Trenton Jump, our leader there, with, I shouldn't say fresh tires, fresher tires than the group around him. So it's definitely going to be wild to see, because even from 10th on back of Tyler Dingler, it's pretty much all those drivers with the fresher ones, the majority of the drivers ahead of him.
Yeah, they were fresh tires about 17 laps ago, but yeah, fresher tires than the other ones that are now on 30-lap old tires. And easily can see that rubber being torn away quickly, as this track, a lot like, say, just a cheese grater on how these tires get torn up. It doesn't matter how much you're trying to save your tires or how aggressive, they're going to get ripped apart. You're going to be losing a lot of time. And now the drivers get to see how this restart's going to go, because if a caution comes out before we hit lap 35, excuse me, there, these drivers going to be setting up for their stage break. So every single position from this point on, so crucial. The top 10 drivers get stage bonus points. And let's see what the mad dash for the top 10 is going to be like, as they've got 5 laps to figure this one out.
It is on here, folks, is now Trenton jumped with that great start. That's allowed him to put that older tire truck there right behind him, a Cedric Hunter in between him and Ali Fonseca. That will give him a better chance here to hold on for this stage victory. But the battling is happening for the 5th position. The 16 and the 77 of Mark Whitley, who made contact earlier, sent the 77 backwards. They're now battling for position as Mark Whitley is trying to make a rebound here after a early almost spin there for him.
Early spin, the early troubles, but now going to be battling forward is the 77 in 5th place. Good points right now, but he's got Matt Upbrook on those fresher tires. Then the rest of the field hoping to settle in for a good run. Driver that's hoping to crack into the top 10, if possible. Going to be the 8 machine of Noah Steele, who took some fresh rubber on this most recent pit stop, as well as his teammate of Eric Stamp. Both drivers taking 4 tires, but they're going to be mired back in that 19th and 20th position. We've got only that of 4 more laps to go, before this stage is done. You got time to get up there in the top 10. I don't think they're going to be winning this stage with how many trucks are able to hold on after this last yellow that came out, but certainly they're dashing and going everywhere for these positions, as it is time to be aggressive in the middle of the field, trying to go for that 10th place spot.
Aggressive is everything back here, man. They are doing everything in their power with the fresher tires here, trying to go forward, trying to get close to those stage points. That's what you want. You know how valuable they can be. We've seen, and there's contact on the back straightaway. They hold on to that machine. I believe that's John Forbes, who is dropping back there in the 11 machine after the contact, but there's also a spinner in the background. It's Joshua Freed and Justin Smith involved in this, but they're going to stay green as they're off the racing surface. 2
separate incidences, and we somehow stay green. As for that second one, it was contact between that of GT Rosari into that of the 39, which bounced Justin Smith as they're wrecking up front. It's Mark Whitley spinning around.
Oh no, a bad start has went to a worse one for him here. It is wild on the front straightaway, and just one of those moments where hard racing here coming down the end of the stage, and this caution will be the end of our stage also. So tough breaks for a few drivers there, because we got a bunch of I believe we got some required damage from that there.
As we're going to get a replay here of the incident between the 77 and I believe also going to be that of the 19 who was involved with this one. As they were going into turn number, they were coming across the start-finish line when the contact was initially made, and it was a weird, awkward exchange here on this incident, as we're getting the replay up for you now. Again, big thanks for showing up here on Monday night for that of the ISRC Truck Series. To everyone that's watching, hey, put it in the chat. Who are you rooting for? Who do you want to win as we see this replay on screen?
Yeah, this is a tough break here, Sam. The 77, it looks like he was just trying to cover off the 19 and drop low. And, the 19 on fresher tires than him having pit, with about 15 different laps, fresher tires than Mark Whitley. Mark Whitley elects to go low, and the 19's there with the run he has, and this is going to collect a good bit of other drivers. It sends him spinning on this front straightaway, and you're going to see a few of them pile in. Tyler Dingler gets some nose damage from it there as he hits him after the incident, but I believe the 7 of Cody Smith, he's going to be the one that gets the hardest hit. It's going to be a T-bone straight to the 77.
Right to the 77 is the 7, and then Austin Halsey just nowhere to go for himself, as he wasn't expecting there to be even more carnage in front. That he could easily sneak on by, not going to happen. And going to be drivers added to the pile of just fatal injuries for themselves. Cody Smith going to be heading into pit road. Going to be also seeing plenty of others, as this will be our stage for the field here, Zach. And as the drivers come into pit road. I mean, certainly a wild race there at the end, but it's going to be Trenton Jump feeling the most comfortable with winning that stage.
That he has been, man. 3 stage wins in a row for the 46 now. That is a fantastic feat to have. So he's been maximizing bonus points these last couple weeks. He's got to be happy with that. I mean, even going back to Watkins Glen, he had a P3 in that stage. So it's been a good time for Trenton Jump when it comes to stage racing, and hopefully he'll be able to keep himself up front here and try to go for a 2nd win in a row, and not have that same long drought he had before when it comes to wins.
As drivers exiting out of pit road, some deciding to go with fuel only, which is going to be an interesting call, and others deciding not even coming to pit road. Is that of Eric Stamp, that of Ryan Crowfoot, deciding to stay out, as well as Noah Steele. And as they stay out, this is going to be causing other drivers to think, well, maybe did we have to stay out? But these drivers did pit on the caution before the stage break, hoping to gain as many positions as possible, and that caution really hurt their chances to move forward.
Yeah, it's definitely hurt the chances to move forward for a good group of those guys. And now with these different strategies, like I was saying before from the last caution, that we'd see a few of these guys who pitted before stay out, and we do. The first 4, Noah Steele, Eric Stamp, Ryan Crowfoot, Zachary Peterson, all 4 of them staying out here. Then you got Smeets and Tates, like you said, who in the 43 and the 4, they took fuel only there on that last stop.
And crazy timing, rewatched the end of that stage, Zach. It was a late pass for Trenton Jump while the caution flag waved that allowed him to be our stage winner, and we hope to be talking to him in our next break as we were trying to get confirmation on who the stage winner was as we were looking at the replays. But watching up front here, Zach, with Noah Steele as well as Eric Stamp, Crowfoot, it seems to be that they actually can hold on pretty well compared to those that are on some fresh rubber. And this is going to be a much better chance for them to try to hold their stance with also the help of Zachary Peterson, Smeets, Kyle B. Tate, and others that have decided to just go with fuel only on this most recent stop.
I think you're exactly right. I mean, they didn't have many laps right there. They also got the caution there before even the stage finished, so they didn't really get too many green flag laps on them. And personally, for Cedric Hunter, I mean, he was 13 laps older tires than Trenton Jump and Ali Fonseca, and he was able to somewhat keep up. So it shows you there's not a massive amount of fall off here tonight. I mean, looking at it, we're probably at most going to get around a second of fall off. So that's not a crazy amount of time to be gained by newer tires. So I think this front group up here, they were going for the track position, and I like the call they made there by pitting early before the stage ended, and now they're sitting up front.
Sitting up front, ready for a race start. It's going to be the teammates 1 and 2 with Noah Steele and Eric Stamp. With that, Ryan Crowfoot is that Zachary Peterson going to be in that second row into the restart zone, and we're green once again for that of the Dino Charge 250. No more stage breaks. It's all about racing it to the end. Lap 90 is the ultimate goal, as they're already in line are the teammates into 1.
Teammates, and of course, there for them is the CTG cars there from Color Tilt Graphics, and they also got their teammate Trenton Jump, who's sliding in the background, going 3 wide, and they're wrecking farther back also in the middle of the field.
And it's going to be GT Rizzari as well as hard contact going to be made for that of Million and others. This was the scare, Zach, that a lot of the field was kind of curious about during practice, was a lot of wrecks at a turn number 2.
Yeah, this was kind of what people were expecting there for sure, is the 91 of Martin Morales there was it was pretty much starting all around him there. Is the cold tires. I mean, I talked about earlier how, the track is cold. It's going to make those cold tires even that much more harder to hold on to and be a little bit more treacherous. And Martin Morales, unfortunately, it just stepped sideways on him quickly as we get this replay spooled up for everybody. And it's going to show how fast it can step away from you. And when the field's coming quickly, it's hard to check up for something.
Well, it just seemed like there were a couple of different ideas on what was going on with this incident, because I think Mark Morales, yes, he stepped loose, but I think he might have been reacting also to the 2 machine of Danny Cochran here, as yes, there's going to be the snap by the 91 that's really going to back him off as he's going to get on the brakes, but then also the 2 in front of him breaks loose. Able to hold on is Danny Cochran, but then here comes that of Christopher Norris and also GT Rizzari and others that make more contact, smushing the 91 And then away he goes sliding. And this is also going to be seeing the 91. And as he slides, tries to save it, gonna blink, which is gonna force that of the 47 to be pushed down to the inside wall. And in front of that, you also see the contact between the 4 machine and 38 that shoves Christopher Norris down into the inside wall.
Just tough situations. Like you said, Danny Cochran got loose too. And it just shows you everybody was holding on to it and just exploding there on the inside of the back straightaway there as these guys are still sitting there trying to get back going after that incident. But things happen so quickly there in the middle of the field that you're kind of just stuck in the lane you're in, and you got to hold on to what you got. So tough break. I know drivers are going to be, reeling from that incident there, knowing that it can happen to any of them. I mean, I seen a driver up front. It was the 46 of Trenton Jump, who was dead sideways coming off a 2. And that is one thing you got to keep in mind. You got those new tires. You want to go forward. But if you get too overzealous and you try a little bit too hard, it steps out in a heartbeat and you can quickly be involved in something.
As drivers having this caution coming out, not expecting very many to happen here tonight, but with the timing of this yellow, it allows everyone to settle in and take their breath as they try to take it to the end. As we're inching to halfway, we'll get ourselves a little picture of what it's like for these drivers trying to get themselves in this race, get into the mindset of how they want to run here tonight. And for some drivers, they've got plenty of different styles that you want to race here this evening. As we take a look at our wall of drivers, and Zach, we got a couple of different shots on how the drivers are running here this evening, and we certainly got a good cluster of them. But man, it's always great to see our wall of drivers and where they're at.
Yeah, from the left to the right there, you got Kyle Beats 8 there. He's in the top left. You also got Joshua Kanata there in the 16 machine. You got Nick Crawford, which completely different scheme cam for him, where he's showing the POV cam. I mean, literally with the GoPro on his hat, trying to show what it looks like from inside his cockpit. And then you got the side cam there for Christopher Norris in the 38 machine also. So just 3, like you said, 4 different looks at it, at a way of how to go about sim racing. You got VR for Kanata also there in that in the second guy on the left there. That is it's cool to see all the differences that you can have in iRacing with how your cockpit is set up, how you go about racing, getting even a sip of your drink just to make sure you're hydrated and ready to go, because when you get going you can't have that drink there because you got to hold on to that wheel.
Yeah, you got 3 drivers ready for the restart. One that's sitting in pit road because he's got required damage playing on his phone, that of Christopher Norris. You see there, just it's a frustrating thought to have for himself, just sitting there. But sometimes you got to find ways to entertain yourself until that damage is repaired and you can get back out there on track as drivers get themselves ready. Oh, awkward wreck. But it was so quick, Zach, that now the drivers deal with cold tires on this next restart. And so now the exit at 2 could be even more dangerous than the race start before that. As we're getting ourselves set up, ready to go, it's going to be that of Noah Steele, Eric Stamp, that of Ryan Crowfoot, as well as Zachary Peterson, that of Jordan Schmeets, all ready to rip it here as we're into the restart zone. And we're green once again here at the Dino Charge 250.
Big checkup on the bottom lane there. I think Kyle Tate there in the 43 just didn't get going, along with Joshua Kanata in Matt Oakbrook in the 15. So it was a big checkup from that inside lane. That's allowing Trenton Jump there in the 46. He's going 3 wide around the top there. Zachary Peterson, and he's going to be trying to make it up there with his teammates, as now it's 3 Color Tilt Graphics trucks up front.
And they could be trying to help one another out, but it's so difficult when you are going to be trying to figure out how to get by teammates. But it's going to be also something interesting to watch out for is the fact that for that of Trenton Jump, he's got the fresh rubber, could be sitting in second place where he's at. I was potentially going to say, could he just sit there and try to bump draft and help that Noah Steele? No, he's not. He's going to get the help from Eric Stamp. Stamp's going to push him along, then they get back in line, and now let's see how the teammates are going to work with one another to defend the rest of the field.
I think with those fresher tires, he's electing, like, I want to get out there, get to the clean air, and be able to control this race, because he knows those fresh tires, like he has over his teammates there right behind him, he has those also coming from behind, also with Cedric Hunter leading the way with that group. So We'll see how they elect to make this work out, but everybody's scattering as they go through 3 and 4. Hunter up top in the 13. Looks like he's right behind the 12, trying to make his way past Peterson, but it's so tough. Again, you get stuck almost sometimes behind the order tires, and it's hard to make the decision on what lane to go in. Right now, the 13 up top, now going to drop it low to go past the 12.
It's kind of boxed in on the exit of the corner, so not able to make any ground until now. As the 13 gets low underneath that of the Armadillo's teammates, as it's going to be seen, Cedric Hunter, will anyone else work with 13? No, they won't. As Ollie Fonseca was trying, and almost a little bit of contact there. Zachary Peterson in the 24. Ooh, hey, you don't want to see that on the straightaways, as that could easily mess up these drivers completely here tonight with any aero damage. As they're going to be seeing the exit of the corner, everyone trying to stay off that outside wall.
Trying to stay off it indeed there, Sam. And that outside lane down the back straightaway, it is so bumpy. Sometimes it can even almost knock the steering wheel out of your hand, and that can kind of cause some of those incidents to play out right there, as that 94 almost got down into the 24. But you can see here ripping the top side, trying to go forward on this outer groove. And you go where they ain't. You're looking for the clean air, and you're also looking to get the draft down the back straightaway. So that's what makes this outside that much more alluring to these drivers.
Right on board with that Crowfoot, the 12 machine, as he'll be trying to stay in the second groove. Got Zachary Peterson, who's going to slightly drift up in front of the 12. Again, like we saw that with Tyler Dangler in the wreck between himself and that of Mark Whitley. I mean, truck awareness is going to be the biggest factor for yourself if you don't have an actual spotter. You have your digital spotter, or someone has an actual person spotting them, is trying to get that clear information of when you're clear and when you're not.
It is so important, especially when it's this stacked up. I mean, you make one split wrong decision, and we saw it, like you said, there with Mark Whitley. Just a wrong decision going down in front of the 19, and it quickly closed that door. 19 couldn't check up, and he's involved in the incident. So you got to have a spotter that's able to talk you through those situations, and you got to pick and choose your battles here. Is now even more battling going on. The 43 Calby Tate, he's trying to get up here and get to the inside of this 21 machine and move himself forward, as it's a good run here for this 43 after, you can see him on the cam here from 17th up to 7th, now trying to take the 6th place position, but just going to get a little tight off of 2.
It's a little tight, but honestly right now where he's settling in, not the worst place to be for that Kyle B. Tate, who did not decide to take tires. I think he just went with a splash and go for himself. So settling around the other drivers that are on older rubber and just defending for themselves, as behind this 43 machine, as you see him just smooth with those hands. They're going to be 3 wide behind, all trying to make the decision. And also, Zach, the decision of going down to the apron. We've seen this at other ovals where there's the opportunity of going down onto the apron, drivers utilizing it while others don't, and trying to predict if a driver's going to go use that apron. It's going to be a difficult decision as the run goes on.
It can be so tough, man. I mean, you want to go down and cut the distance. It's also really bumpy down there. So when you go down and cut the distance, you got to be ready for the bumps down there, but you're also taking yourself out of that draft factor. So if you can't get the draft, I see why a few people do it. They try to cut that distance and, make up for the difference they're losing when it comes to the draft around them. But it can be really tough trying to make that decision of what the driver below you or above you is going to do when you elect to do that heading down to the apron. So we'll see how that plays out the rest of the night with people trying to go down there. But here's Zachary Peterson trying to hold on with those older tires with Kanata and also Moniz here breaking into the top 10 for the 5.
Trying to make these moves as we're going to actually bounce to the lead, because we're seeing a great battle that's happening between them. Going to be that of Cedric Hunter, Trenton Jump. A little bit of slide job and crisscross just happened. Cedric Hunter took the lead off the exit of turn 2. Well, Trenton Jump, he's going to take the lead right back on the entry of turn 3. But here comes that crossover move by the 13 again, expecting it, as the 46 has to back off and almost get into the outside wall.
All close to almost contact between the wall and even the front bumper of the 13, as he had to make sure he turned down the racetrack for the 46. Now down into 1 and 2. Can he try to make that slide job maneuver that he pulled last time? And this track is so inviting for it. It's such a shorter distance to go around the bottom, but you carry so much more less momentum that it always doesn't work out. And now you'll see Trent Jump went all the way to the wall, Cedric Hunter all the way to the white line. Jump now with the run into 3. He's going to look to pull off maybe the same maneuver he did last time.
As he throws it down, the more that they swap back and forth, we're seeing it out of the 24, as well as the teammates of the Amarillas. They are starting to close in on this gap that was starting to build way further out. But Trenton Jump and Cedric Hunter, it's shrinking away as they're going to be side by side, not going down the apron this go around. Was that a track jump trying to do a slide draft to set up this entry into turn number 1, where it seems like the 24 could think about helping that Cedric Hunter instead of the 46.
Yeah, if that 24 can get side by side with the 46, that'll slow him down, but just couldn't get there. But Trenton Jump with a good run off of 2, not as good as what he had before. This time down into 3, he's going to elect to do that same maneuver, but every time he does that, that's going to use up the tires here, sliding in front of the 13. But I think this time the 13 is there to keep it on the quarter panel, and the run off the exit of the corner here, it comes from Cedric Hunter, and he's going to have Fonseca and the 24 behind him. I think this is going to be wild here as Fonseca's going to look to split it down the middle, and this is going to get wild. Oh.
3 wide entering turn number 1. You got tires that have been used by the 46, the 24 making it work through the center. He'll keep the lead as they go through 1 and 2, but watch out the exit momentum by Cedric Hunter. Will he be able to slice down and use the momentum, or will it help the 24? He'll get by, but here comes that Cedric Hunter. High, low, he'll take the high lane as they're going to be going drag racing down into turn number 3.
He pulled the dummy move. He made the look to the inside, made the 24 think he was going there, went back and jotted to the outside. Now able to get to the quarter panel, but just not able to stay on the outside. As now the 24 is going to try to slide up, but the 13 still there. The side draft deployed, and this is going to be where Cedric Hunter is in the most valuable position, is on this outer groove. And oh, Fonseca having some network issues. Don't want to see him blinking out there when the race is side by side for the lead, but here comes the 13 putting it on the door of the 24.
And also, I'm watching out. This group's now grown to that of 6 drivers in the mix, and it's going to be the bright yellow machine of Kyle Rochelle trying to get in the mix here. And if you look back at the history of Freaky Fast Broadcasting and watching different leagues that Kyle Rochelle has raced at, he's won at this track in a similar night race. Could he get himself in a victory lane? Is that 21 and lock himself into the playoffs? As Ollie Fonseca takes the lead and holds on over that of the 13 for now, but how long can he hold out for, as that of the 13 Hello Kitty machine still trying to search where to go? But at this point, Zach, I mean, he's used up so much of these tires with so many aggressive moves. I don't know if he's got enough to go after Ollie now.
We'll have to see here, as he's been able to make moves before, but it's going to be the question of how well the tires work. But through 1 and 2 right there, just a great run. And ooh, Fonseca, a little bit of a late block there. I was close almost to being in contact between those two as he defends that inside lane. Cedric Hunter got the drop back into the inside there. But I think what you brought up there before, that 21, don't count him out, folks. This could be his chance to go for his first win here, and that would be a special way to do it. Very talented when it comes to this Auto Club Speedway, and I think he could be a sleeper here coming down to the end.
Yeah, Rochelle, always a threat when it comes to these tracks. He might not be the favorite at every track that we go to, but he knows how to get it done when it's necessary for himself as the field continues to battle back and forth. Trenton Jump now gonna try another duel and another round with that of Cedric Hunter, as they're gonna be side by side, but just not enough drafting help, and it's actually gonna be the 21 with the advantage on the outside.
Yeah, this is where going to that inside line like Trenton Jump did there on Cedric Hunter, that's going to really hurt him, because you can try to make that pass, but if you don't get it done, that driver behind you is just going to go right to your outside, and you're going to quickly fall back. So tough break there if you're that 46 machine who was trying to go forward. Now you go backwards with trying to make that pass.
And as we've talking about, the 21 being a threat to watch out for. Zach, these drivers, they can't make it, can they, on fuel? Are they going to have to come into pit road here? When are they thinking about coming into pit road for these drivers?
That's going to be the huge question I think they got to ask themselves, because we had that stage there break at lap 35, and we actually had it a lap earlier technically with the caution the way it flew. They will not be able to make it on fuel. They have to come down here to pit road at some point. I think you see pit road open up around lap 25 or 25 to go. So we'll see how that shakes out. That's lap 65 for everybody out there. So we could be within 10 laps of making it happen. But oh man, just big maneuvers being made up front. The 24 looking to defend, and 13 almost getting into him.
We were talking about the 13's woes last week at Darlington, running into the pit wall on that of the entry, under pacing. And Zach, we rewatched that a couple of times after the stream was done, and it was a good, kind of a deep move by that of, Danny Cochran. Instead of, the usual deep move of not going into pit road, he deeped into pit road and forced an issue. But tonight, the deep move could be someone going into the outside wall. You can make someone follow you until you're almost at the entry of the corners and throw them into that outside wall if you're not careful enough.
You really can. This place is a place where if you follow the driver in front of you, you can quickly end up in trouble because of them. So you got to make sure if you're one of those drivers not to do too much following. You got to make sure you know where you're out on the track and always located, because if you try to follow somebody, you can quickly end up in their path. Their path might be the path that's leading to destruction.
Kyle Rochelle, he's been in this ISRC Truck Series since the very beginning. He was this 21, and he's still searching for that first win ever in the history of boats. Could it come tonight? As we're inching closer and closer to that around 60. The drivers up front, top about 4, seeming pretty solid in where they're at this current time. And looking at the lap times, that last lap back, top 4 are the fastest drivers on track. No surprise as they continue to try to pull away from the rest of the pack, as it's going to be that of Ollie Fonseca, Cedric Hunter, Kyle Rochelle, as well as Trenton Jump. Jump's starting to lose touch to our top 3, but he's just got an inkling of draft to keep him where he's at.
And he does, and big maneuvers still being made, and everybody trying to find speed. But yeah, that top 4 is definitely starting to open up a gap here. So we look back to 9th. We also got that 11 machine of John Forbes. He'll have Ethan Smith, his teammate, right behind him. Matt Oatbrook having a good run in the 15 machine, pretty much staying where he started around the night. But it's been one of those moments where they're losing ground to the drivers up front.
We've lost plenty of drivers here this evening, as first driver to hit pit road, Nick Crawford in the 74, who's been dealing with a lot of damage. Curious if this is a I'm done type of a park, as we have lost over that of about 8 to 10 drivers with the amount of carnage that is struck here this evening, as that of Crawford going to go in his box. But here's going to be a driver that it's great to see where he's running, just trying to have a stable night. That's Dakota Moniz in 8th place.
That he is. Dakota Moniz, having a quiet night, and I think that's important for him because, he stayed out of the mess. He's been in a good position, and now he's going to battle for 7th for possibilities. He's got stamped right in front of him with this group. So it's been wild, but also I say that while it is up front, they're racing once again for the lead. So it is one of those moments where it's hard to pick and choose here, because Cedric Hunter in the 24, the 24 has to back out. He almost gets to the wall.
There was a little bit of contact there between the rear bumper of Cedric Hunter and the front bumper of the 24. There's a little bit of deep press, hold on, but it gives the opening the 21 needed of Kyle Rochelle. He'll now slot in between that of Ollie Fonseca and Cedric Hunter, and that of the 21, recognizing how to run this racetrack. He makes the pass, moves up, moves a little bit higher than where Cedric Hunter was to build that momentum. Now able to try to utilize the draft, as Ollie Fonseca trying to manually, by himself, make the pass back for 2nd.
24 trying to pull a power move here down into 1. He's going to look almost to the inside of the 13, but he's going to have the air on his nose here, and he's got that 21 to the outside. It's just not going to be the momentum he needs down the back straightaways here. The 21 going to get the draft of the 13. That pulls him back forward, and now with Fonseca with that nice side draft, he's able to stay alongside. Can he clear here down to 3 is going to be the key.
And with the way that these air pockets work, is practically like the 24 is rubbing up against that 21 through the corners. But Kyle Rochelle better exit out of turn number 4, and it just keeps the 21 in line, who continues to make this march to try to take the lead position. Now he's going to have to try to take this lead spot, but as this laps and the laps tick on, we are seeing more and more drivers into pit road. This go around, it's going to be 4. Zachary Peterson as well. It's going to be Kyle B. Tate, and that of going to be Schmitz and others trickling in.
I believe also Crowfoot with them. So big things happening on pit road right now. I think if you're one of these drivers up front, it's going to be who's the first to flinch. You got to decide quickly who is going to do that. And I think it looks like the 24, Ollie Fonseca, he's going to make it happen while a group of them follow behind. It looks like Kanata also in the 16.
Moniz as well is going to be seeing Eric Stamp. John Forbes going to be coming into the mix. And plenty of others. It looks to be also all the blackjack of Ethan Smith following Danny Copper and John McAdams. All deciding that pit road is where they want to be. I think the back, John McAdams deciding to stay out from the Blackjack Racing team. But now it's going to leave the mano-a-mano battle between that of Cedric Hunter and Kyle Rochelle on when are they going to come into pit road.
That is the huge question. When do they flinch? Do they do it this time, or do they try to build a little bit of a tire advantage? And that'll be the question. I think the smart decision would be here, if you're Trenton Jump, if you're Kyle Rochelle, if you're Cedric Hunter, you need to make sure when you pit together. You're able to get out there together and really push forward and have the tire advantage, all of you, and you'll be able to try to drive past those drivers who are on the older set of tires that just pitted this last time by. So we'll see how that works out. Looks like Trenton Jump is falling back off this 21 and 13. So we could see this 21 and 13 really be the duo that tries to work together.
And right now, going to be trying to make it pass as fast as possible. Going to be that Nick Crawford, who's recognizing drivers are thinking about pitting this time by 74 molasses away. Cedric Hunter trying to prepare for pit road entry, and Kyle Rochelle, will he go high or is he going to follow in soon? It looks like they're following it together, Zach. That's exactly what we were seeing they needed to do. And also joining them is going to be that Trenton Jump, who's being aggressive side by side with the 21.
Just a great entry. Trenton Jump, I mean, he gained a ton there, folks, on that entry. That was what you want to see if you're Trenton Jump. 0.8 of a second he just gained on those two ahead of him, and now he's right back in the mix when we come to our pit boxes here. The key is you can't slide through the box. No mistakes here. Those could be the critical seconds that take you out of this event.
Those are those small details that we don't always bring up, but are so massive. The entry and exit of pit road, you can gain so much time, including time on your box on how your pit crew is going to be making these adjustments of taking and getting these tires on and off as fast as they can. Now coming into pit road as this group comes out, going to be that of the teammate of Trenton Jump, Noah Steele, into pit road, but he's going to be all on his lonesome with this stop, and we're left with just that of 7 drivers that need to make their last pit stop.
Let's see how this shakes out. You got Cedric Hunter, Trenton Jump about to come off the exit here and cross the blend line, and look behind him. It's the 24 Ali Fonseca. These two have done a fantastic job here. They've now got a tire advantage, and they just gained so much time through the pit sequence. This could be a tough break for Ali here to be in this position.
Ali was staying out, was hoping that he was going to have at least a 2, maybe even 3-second gap, if not more than that, coming through those pit stops. And the fact that he has not been able to gain anything, if anything, settling behind, is going to be a frustrating time for that of the 24. He's just going to hope and trust that he can continue to race on, as right now, the field all still trying to get their services done. We still have that of around 5 drivers that still need to hit pit road, and leading the way, hey, Armadillos once again, but it's Logan Brakey who's been deeper in the field here tonight for the 29, with that of Jonathan Smith, John McAdams, as well as Joshua Freed still needing to hit pit road.
Really a great job by Brakey here to get up here to the front. We'll see what they're trying to catch here, because they're giving up time. They are 42.54 last time. We had the 24 run a 40.96. So, I mean, you're looking at over a second and a half of time being given up there from that 29 machine per lap. But if he does catch a caution here, this will be critical, because these other drivers with laps on their tires, with other sets still left, they're probably going to look to come down, and he would just jump them when it comes to track position wise. That may be the game a few of these drivers up front waiting to pit are doing.
Waiting for caution, waiting for mistakes, so many different factors still looming. We're coming up to 20 to go here very shortly, and as we're in the middle of this pit cycle, we are going to take a small little break. When we come back, going to be more racing action here tonight on that of Freaky Fast Broadcasting. You're watching currently the ISRC Truck Series. It's the Dino Charge 250. And we will be right back in just a few moments to give you the rest of the incredible coverage here at Auto Club. It's morphin time. Let's energize and unleash that power as you're watching the Dino Charge 250 for the ISRC Truck Series at Auto Club on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall. And currently underway, it's going to be the 16 of Joshua Kanata leading the way as he had a phenomenal pit stop for himself. And Zach, I mean, that's exactly what the field it was not wanting to see here tonight.
That they were not, man. This is a great gap. 1.7 seconds back to Cedric Hunter in the 13 machines. We got his driver cam up here to see the virtual reality side of things from the 16 machine. Can he go for his first career victory here at ISRC? What a job to do it, too. I mean, he pitted on the same exact lap as Ali Fonseca did. I went back and looked at it. Fonseca slid through his box, and I think he could be kicking himself knowing that this could be where he's at. But now the 16 just did an excellent job on pit exit everywhere. And he is getting rained down by Cedric Hunter right now. And maybe those tires starting to give out. But he's going to have a shot here to win this race because it's 11 to go.
Yeah, I mean, for Cedric Hunter, he had a lot of help with Ali Fonseca trying to give kind of bump drafting through that run. And as well, now just running his own pace is the 13, trying to catch up to the 16 as Joshua Kanata doing his best. Is going to actually have lap traffic trying to get by. That's the 39 of Joshua Freed. And I was talking with Kanata before this race, and he was saying, hey, I'm just hoping I'm not throwing my headset off at the end of the night. Or hopefully you catch when I throw my headset off because something happened. Because he was coming off a couple of weeks where it has been kind of a frustrating couple of races where he's not finished where he wanted to be. Last week it was VR issues. Here tonight, he's been crossing his fingers that it's going to stay stable, as that has been a continuous issue here, Zach, for a lot of VR drivers, that a lot of them have had to make that transition from VR to their monitors. Tonight, he's doing the risky job of running VR.
That he is. It's always a risk, it seems, with that. And the yellow flag's out.
Oh, my. And it's going to be that of Zachary Peterson on the front stretch.
Wow. This changes everything, folks. This is going to be a wild finish with everybody probably coming down to get new, fresh tires here. And, I mean, Kanata now in a great position to win this thing.
It is going to change everything here tonight as I get this replay set. I mean, what a bizarre moment. And I've never seen this type of a situation happen recently. But the 96 kind of going with the bizarre way of trying to get himself back straightened out. That brought out the yellow, but this is with the initial contact, but it's way after this that actually brings out the yellow on why it came out.
That is very intriguing to see here, because we're going to see here the 43 is going to make a little contact to the right rear. It happens. I mean, this 96 was sliding up. The 43, I think, was trying to continue his run. But normally, this right here, this slide down the racetrack onto the apron, it normally would not have brought out a yellow. I think it was what happened here after this.
Yeah, it's after this. So we'll come on what we see. But he's just letting it roll. I mean, he's not on the brakes until now to try to straighten himself out, and then overcorrects, gets back up on the racing surface, and now he's on the racing surface. Oncoming traffic is coming, and that's what brings out our yellow. It's just, you know, a driver trying to outskill himself. It just was not a situation to try to do, you know, showboating, but that's kind of what he was going for there.
I think some drivers may be a little upset after they see that there tonight with how that played out. So, crazy scenes, but it's setting up crazy scenes here on pit road as now everybody comes in and puts a set of 4 fresh tires on. Will we see someone try to make a 2-tire stop? I don't know if that call is going to be smart, because you could definitely get a little bit loose. And as I say that, Eric Stamp did it.
Hey, we've been proven wrong before. I mean, think back to Motegi, where we got to see drivers trying 2 tires out, and it worked out in fashions. I mean, it certainly is something that you can try when it feels like this car is going to be extremely loose. And we're going to be seeing John Forbes, Eric Stamp. They're going to be testing out the 2 tires, as well as that of Ryan Ferraro deeper in the field. How will the 2 tires work, or will it bring out more calamity? We'll find out here as we are under yellow. Hey, let's give a shout out to some of the amazing sponsors out there for that of the ISRC Truck Series. as these drivers are getting themselves set up for the final push. But it's got to give a big shout out to Race Car Graveyard. Race Car Graveyard, the title sponsor of the ISRC Truck Series. They've been here since day one, and we love that they continue to be the title sponsor of this amazing truck series that we cover on Monday nights. And as well, their stage break sponsor, it's the Laugh Lap. If you're looking for quality memes, and they post daily, go head over to the_laugh_lap for your quality memes today. And also for our white flag sponsor and just a great sponsor that sponsors a lot of races, it's Larry Art Productions. If you're looking for a variety of great comedic videos on YouTube, and if you just want some quality just content, head over to Larry Art Productions today, as those are the main sponsors. Other ones also to shout out, LP24 Clothing, as well as that of Morecast. They are some of the amazing sponsors that help out this league day in and day out. But Zach, when we go green, it's going to be 6 laps to go as they're getting stacked up and ready to go. It is going to be that a Logan Brakey deciding not to pit, and then a driver that decided to take 2 tires of Eric Steele.
Ooh, these are nail-biting moments for drivers right now. The nervous feelings are kicking in. Everybody's trying to figure out, how do I get through traffic here? That is the big question. How do you make moves? How do you pick the right lane? Because one lane choice of wrong maneuver, you could be setting yourself way back in the field. So we'll have to see who is able to get it done. But I'm telling you right now, you ain't going to want to walk away from your screens, because you got to buckle down right now, because these drivers are about to send it as hard as we've seen it all night. That's why you see them. They're weaving. They're trying to put as much heat into those tires here to have that optimal grip through 1 and 2 to carry the run they need necessary to win this race.
And they're also weaving because they got to get that heat built up, Zach. This is the coldest the track has been all night long. It's at 67 degrees track temp, and it's only going to get colder if they go longer into this race. And the ambient temperature, it's cold as well, as it's at that 63 degrees. It continues to trickle down. The drivers are hoping that some warmth would maybe be here as they're green, but it really hasn't been so. But now is the time. 6 laps to go. The teammates are leading the charge. Who's going to survive the exit of turn 2? Because, Zach, I got a feeling someone's going to overstep that boundary.
I have that same feeling, Sam. Somebody here's got to make that weird maneuver. Slide and get loose to 16, a little free there through the center of the corner. The 53 loose up top. Now we're going to have the run from the inside lane. The 29, the 8 machine, all of them here stacked up. Nick Crawford even coming into the wrecking.
Teammates, it's going to be everyone scattering across as the front stretch and the front row all take each other out. Just bad bumps on the straightaway, and it causes calamity.
Man, oh man, this is what late race restarts bring. I mean, you look at the 16, the 13, they looked like they were on for a victory. The 13 now out of it. The 29 who stayed out, he's out of it. I mean, this is Noah Steele's possible chance to get a victory now. Also, Nick Crawford somehow is back in the picture. This is something you didn't think you'd see here tonight, folks, is that type of moment, but it's what happens when everybody's going for it.
And with that caution, I think it's going to still keep us inside of regulation potentially here for a green and white checkered attempt. But this incident, already over the radio, people are mad. Cedric Hunter, Logan Brakey are fuming at one another over the radio. And they've already been told by admins, hey, take it to Discord if you're going to have any more talking points. And Zach, that's a rare moment for the admins to have to step in, but that just states how mad these drivers are on this late race incident.
Yeah, there's going to be some furious people, I think, after this race. You're going to definitely hear those feelings thaw out, and I mean, it's kind of what you get here. This is what the league builds. It builds drama. I mean, you had the 53 get loose. It stacked up the outside. Cedric Hunter here coming through the middle. He's going to have the 29 pull in front of him. He's just going to try to bump him and go forward. And when I think here they get a little off center, the 13 off to the left of them, and that's just going to send the 29 sliding. And then right here, I think maybe a little bit of that air off the rear, that 29 catches the 13. That sends him to the right. And then the 53 there, Eric Stamp, he's just involved in his teammates' unfortunate incident there. And then it's going to send the 13 back down the racetrack into Logan Brakey. So into each other down the back straightaway. They went away from each other, and then they found each other back here at the end. And then Fonseca, he's going to collect the 13 on the nose right there, trying to get through.
Not going to be required damage for Ole Fonseca, but the required damage goes to the two that were at the bad bump. Logan Brakey, Cedric Hunter, both going to be forced into pit road. Was just trying. I mean, Logan Brakey, he was on those older tires. both himself and his teammate, Eric Stamp, got a bit of a wiggle sensation out of the corner, so they were not at maximum speed, as well having the draft allowing the 13 and others to pull next to Logan Breaky, but hard contact, and it's going to restack and resettle where drivers are going to be. We're expecting the one to go on this pass around, which should allow these drivers to go into a green-white checkered. But if we don't see the fact that the lights turn off and give us the one to go indicator, then we will be heading into overtime. So it's kind of a waiting game here, but Zach, Noah Steele, like Nick Crawford, John Forbes, Eric Stamp, Joshua Kanata, your top 5. I mean, that's a pretty stout top 5, but is there anyone else maybe outside of our top 5 that you're feeling might have a chance to try to carve their way through the field in these last couple of laps?
You know, I would say Ali Fonseca in 6th, but he caught a good bit of damage. But don't count Ethan Smith out either. I mean, back there in the 7th position, you got also Dakota Moniz in 8th. And Ryan Ferraro in the 51, his debut back here with ISRC. He's in a great position. So this is shook things up even more, folks. So I'm telling you, it's anybody's game. We just seen what happened. You know, it pretty much is one of those situations where everybody is going for it here late in these last closing laps of this race. So I tell you, nothing is off the playing field. Drivers are known here at ISRC to go for it, so to say. So we could see some fireworks fly, as we've already seen on the back straightaway there before. And this could very well end up being a really great finish, or a dramatic one at that also. As you see everybody trying to get the heat in the tires. They've seen how loose people were on that first run. That is the goal here. Put as much heat in those tires here for this restart.
We are still in regulation, meaning that we will finish this race in our 90-lap stint, if we can finish this race at that point. The goal is to get to the white flag. If we do not get to the white flag and a yellow flag comes out on this first initial lap, we will head into overtime. Overtime, we've got 3 attempts if needed, but again, this is our first attempt at a green-white checkered. We got 3 attempts after this if we find ourselves getting a caution flag before we get the one to go marker. It's going to be that of Noah Steele, Nick Crawford, John Forbes, Eric Stamp, Josh Kanata, Ollie Fonseca, Ethan Smith, Dakota Moniz, Ryan Ferraro, as well. It's going to be Danny Cochran. Your top 10 ready for tonight's event. Some of our biggest movers are up front, but can they stay up front into the restart zone? We're green here for our restart, as it's going to be that of the 8 machine already with a good launch, but watch out for that 11 of John Forbes.
This is what the 8 machine wants to see. He wants to see him side by side for the 2nd position, and you got Forbes on the 2 tires. He's hoping to keep the 2 tires from him. The Forbes slides up. He gets loose off of 2, but Nick Crawford, nice cut down from him. He's going to be to the inside, and Noah's still loving what he sees down the back straightaway in his mirror, as he's going to head to 3 and 4 and look for the white flag.
That was Kyle B. Tate that was going to be low off the racing surface, as he'll drop all the way back to the tail end of the lead lap drivers. But Noah Steele holding steady as they come out of turn number 4. They're wanting the white flag to come out and make this race official. But if a yellow flag comes before that, we're going to overtime, but we're not going to utilize it. It's your Larry Art Productions white flag. This is it, Zach, as they go into turn number 1.
One final time through 1 and 2. Everything's breaking loose back here from 2nd on back. Noah Steele knows this is his time to get the victory, and he sees great stuff in his mirror, as behind him Nick Crawford into the 0-0, and John Forbes holding on to 2nd as they're 3 wide down the back straightaway, stacking up with Steele going into the 4 lead.
Noah Steele trying to search for this victory for himself, looking for an opportunity. John Forbes sending it all the way into the corner. Will it stick, though? As the 11's looking for the momentum, the 8th looking for the smoothness. Out of turn number 4, going to be taking the victory here at the Dino Charge 250. It's Noah Steele in the 8 machine.
And they're beating and banging it, man. I tell you what, for 3rd, Nick Crawford pulls that off with a 24. What a win for Noah Steele, though, guys. This has been a long time coming for the 8 machine.
Noah Steele, you've been talking to other drivers, and other drivers have noticed it before. He had been so fast on the officials, as this week has been all the officials for that of Auto Club, and he's been winning, he's been dealing, and tonight he outshines everybody. He got the caution that was necessary to put him in an opportune chance to win. The 8 machine did not squander it. He keeps himself up front. He watched all the bickering behind, and he finds himself heading to victory lane, as that's going to be another Armadillo's driver going to victory lane, as Ollie Fonseca gets a little bit too aggressive with the bumps, as with those celebratory contacts. But the 8, he'll be in the grass, and he'll have some fun out there.
And he will, man. This is a great win for the 8 machine. Congrats to him. I mean, started 21st, ends up in victory lane. You couldn't ask for a better night if you're Noah. And, you know, not too surprised. This was a long time coming, like I said before.
First time winners continue on with that of the 8 machine as he will finally break that win column. He's been in that of, last time it was at Chicagoland. We thought he was going to break it after his great battle with that of Mark Whitley last season. He thought he was going to get the win at Charlotte. Did not happen, but tonight it lines up and he gets himself into victory lane. Going to be our third different first time winner this season. Crazy stuff. Season 4, it's been magical. As we're going to step aside when we come back, we're going to be finding ourselves with our post-race show. We're going to be talking to that of our top 3. Going to be talking to our top 2 and a spotlight driver when we come back after this. Welcome back to the post race show for that of the ISRC truck series here this evening on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We get to see another first time winner here tonight as we head to victory lane. It's Noah Steele in the 8 machine. We'll get his thoughts on how tonight went. Sorry, Noah, for taking away from that conversation, but you are finding yourself as the third driver this season being a first time winner. Man, how are you feeling after that?
I'm feeling great, man. I can't believe it. It's my heart was racing towards the end there. I knew we had the speed. We messed up qualifying. This is my best track on the service. It feels so good to be here. We deserve it. We've raced so hard, and we've had consistent speed, just some bad luck here and there. It's just about time.
That it really is. No, man. Congrats on the win. Way to get that first victory here in the ISRC Truck Series. First off, congrats, like I said, on that. But, like you said, you had a tough time qualifying there. How tough was it to come through the field? Because we seen it was very tough to make passes at some points.
So it wasn't that bad. It was all about tires. With the first run, I was just saving fuel and saving gas because I didn't know how that stage was going to go. And then when the caution came out, I was like, oh, let's just pit for tires and gas, and then we'll get a track position there. And we just held on that second run. Really bad at green flag pit stop, so it set us back there. But we were flying through the field, and then the caution came out, and we just got lucky with Cedric and the boys collecting each other, and we made it through scot clean and had the speed to finish it off.
I mean, a great win for yourself here, Noah. I know we've been just documenting all the different times you finished second, but now you have that monkey off your back. You're now going to be heading to the playoffs with this ticket of winning here tonight. But now
That's
we go to
good.
probably one of the more difficult tracks of the season. We're going to a brand new track at Port Royal Dirt Track Racing. How are you feeling about that track? As well as we're heading to Fuji right after that.
I don't belong on dirt, man. So I'm glad I got this win, so I don't have to worry about it. And then we got the road course afterwards, which we all know I'm pretty not the best at. So it's good to have this one to relieve that stress. But the two tracks after that we're pretty good at. We're just in a weak spot for two races, but we can see what we go. We're just gonna run and gain as many points and maybe luck into a win or something. We'll see what happens.
We hope to see you up front in some of these races. Congratulations, Noah, on this win. And before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
I want to thank my family. It's my uncle Chris's happy birthday, so happy birthday to him. Thank yeah, my mom, dad, my grandfather, my grandma. Big thank you to Nolan Hicks for spotting. He's been doing spotting this whole season, and I think it's improved myself a lot. And I couldn't have done this one without him because heart was racing there, and he kept me calm, kept me relaxed. And just thank y'all for putting on the show because I'm definitely gonna want to watch this again.
Certainly was a fun one to cover there, Noah. And congratulations again on getting your win finally here in the Truck Series.
Thank you so much, sir.
As we head from victory lane, let's go take a look to that a second place to a driver. Actually, it's been a dominant streak here this season as we see the 11 of John Forbes. John, it's Sam and Zach up in the booth. You got us?
10-4.
Well, you try to make the late dive bomb move there in turn number 3. It didn't stick for the win, but man, how are you feeling after tonight's race that seemed to be almost a pinball machine at times?
Yeah, I'm happy I was able to recover. I mean, Ethan and I have been working great the first half of the race, and then all of a sudden I get doored down the backstretch, and luckily it only gave me a couple seconds of damage somehow. So luck was on my side for once, but yeah, the whole rest of the race was just about recovering, getting back to the front. So yeah, I was fine with the race finishing under green. I felt like if a caution came out, it was gonna be a wreck fest as it was, and I was gonna get in something stupid. But luckily, we were able to make it out. And on my last pit stop, I slid through the box and had to take 2 tires last second. So that's why I was able to get a little bit more track position, and I think it helped me out.
That really did, John, man. Congrats on that. And just another spectacular finish for you this season. I mean, continuing to grow the points lead you already had. How does that feel for the momentum heading into Port Royal next week?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I'm not going to be here next week, so I just wanted a good run, and it did help me that Whitley had some misfortune tonight, so it should cancel out there with me not being there. So yeah, I just wanted a solid night. Really wanted to win this one with it being the home track, but I'll of course take a top 5. A top 2 is great, and we'll continue it when I'm back in 2 weeks.
Well, we can't wait to see you in 2 weeks there, John. Before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout outs.
I had to run this paint scheme again because my brother made it for the throwback race and it didn't go too well, so I felt like I had to bring it out again. So I want to thank him for this paint scheme, making all the schemes for me. I want to thank all my friends and family watching. I want to thank my teammates for all the advice and the practice sessions. I want to thank Ethan especially for all the teamwork we had going on there. Worked out pretty good at the end, so thank you guys for hosting these every week. And see you guys in 2 weeks.
We can't wait for it. That's going to be the 11 of John Forbes getting second place here tonight. Congratulations there, John. As we go from second place, we head ourselves to that of our spotlight driver. Well, Zach will take us to the end of tonight's broadcast.
That we will. And we're going to move on, like Sam said, here to our spotlight driver. And our spotlight driver tonight is a driver who brought it home in the 7th position here tonight, folks. Had a great run. That's the 5 of Dakota Manise. Let's hear from him. Hey, Dakota, it's Zach up in the booth. You got a copy, bud?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Hey, man, well, what a wild finish there coming down to the end. You end up in 7th. Take us through that because it seemed like everything broke loose there in those late restarts.
Yeah, we were just running inside the top 10 there in the last 10 laps, and then we got that late caution, of course. And yeah, it was just basically full send, and hope we were there and make it through at the end. And we were able to squeak by and get the 7th place finish. So
That you
definitely
were,
happy
Dakota,
with
man.
that.
Oh, my bad, buddy.
Oh no, just definitely happy with that finish, and definitely something we needed for sure.
That it was, man. I tell you, that's a great finish for you because you're coming here tonight 15th in points, so that should take you up the board there a little bit. And heading into these next few tracks, there's some tricky ones coming up. I mean, you got Port Royal first off next week, the dirt track there. Then you have Fuji. I mean, those are two tracks looming that. How do you feel going into that after coming off a 7th place finish here tonight?
Going into Port Royal, I just feel like that's going to be kind of a survival race. Just hopefully keep the truck somewhat intact and be there at the end. So that'll be the goal for that race. And Fuji, that's just going to be getting a lot of practice in, and hopefully we're able to find some speed that week and come away with a decent finish. We're not that great on road courses, so something we need to work on.
Well, Dakota, man, great finish here tonight for that 7th place finish here at Auto Club. Before we let you get out of here and go reflect on tonight, anybody you want to send a shout out to?
Yeah, just shout out to my painter Danny, Hot Laps Designs, for rocking the awesome paint schemes for me. Shout out to all my teammates at Larson Line, got 3 in the top 10 tonight, and shout out to you guys. You guys do an awesome job every week in all the leagues.
Well, thank you very much, Dakota, man. You have a great night, and we will catch you next time.
All right, thanks, boys.
All right, folks, that was our spotlight driver of the night, Dakota Maniz there, finishing in the 7th position. Congrats to him on that. What a great job doing that. But it was a wild night in general here at Auto Club, as we've seen the twists and turns of yellow flags breeding the drama that, we normally see here at ISRC. We normally get a little bit of a twist coming down to it, and they for sure brought that here under the lights tonight. As we check out our race results, you're going to see it there. Noah Steele, first time win there for him in the Truck Series. Congrats on that. Second's going to go to John Forbes, our points leader, and he won't be here next week, so that was a good finish for him. Nate Crawford, he bounces back after early contact into the inside wall. The third, the 24, Fonseca, even with the damage he received in that late race yellow, he gets up the 4th. Ethan Smith with another solid top 5. 6 is going to go to Jordan Smeets. Great run for him. 7th there was Dakota's. We talked to him. 8th is Danny Cochran, bouncing back from contact early in the race for himself. The 21 Kyle Rochelle's going to finish 9th. And rounding out the top 10 was the driver leading when that second to last caution came out. That's Joshua Kanata. And as we scroll through the rest of the list, it was upset for a few, but good nights nonetheless for others, as the 51 of Ferraro finished in 11th, up 12th. I mean, it was just so many great nights for a few of those guys, but tough breaks also for a majority of them, as Cedric Hunter there in the 13, he finishes back in 24th. Logan Breaky, those two battling down, coming to the end for the win, and they end up out of this race 4 laps down in 24th and 25th. So tough breaks all around, but a great night nonetheless there for the 8 machines. He's going to be happy to bring home his first career victory, folks. As we got a tricky few weeks heading up, man. I tell you, I'm excited to see how they shake out, especially with Port Royal. I've never actually even seen a race there before, so I'm going to have to go do some studying, hit the books, and get some notes ready for that race because, man, I don't know what to expect at all. I think, like Dakota said in his interview, it's going to be a survival race, and I think that's what drivers are going to need to focus on. So we'll have to see how the dirt track shakes out next week, and then the week after that, we go to Fuji. And I tell you, that track, I have some experience there. It is a very, very fun road course. I'm interested to see how the trucks work there. I mean, it's a stock car. It's not a stock car, normal road course. So I'm cool to see these guys go outside the box, do something a little different from majority of the leagues out there. So what a great 2 weeks we got heading up for you. And as always, we're going to be here live on Monday nights here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with the ISRC Race Car Graveyard Truck Series. As always, on Monday nights, just doing our thing here on 8:45. So make sure you stay with us. Come back next week. Check it all out. And don't forget, we also got other leagues going on throughout the week. We got Tuesday night with Full Sin Racing. Wednesday night, we got the Wicked Racing League. Thursday night, we have Stars and Stripes. And then to end off the week on Saturday, we got the World Series of Sim Racing. So we got great leagues all around. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you enjoyed tonight's broadcast, and come back for another time. But as I always say, it's a pleasure to call the action. Thank you to Sam Dyer. Thank you to Robert Moore Jr. for doing all the production in the background and keeping us in check in our booth. But we thank you all for tuning in. As I always say, stay freaky fast.